Alright guys, welcome back. So April and I were talking about the girls. So we're basically her girls. And one has a $400 car payment. One has a $300 car payment. I doubt they're exact, but we're just going to say between the both of them, they have $700 a month car payments, not including full coverage insurance, which is required when you have a note or a loan on a vehicle. That's a fact. So we're going to say they're not in the lowest insurance bracket because they're still quite young. We're just going to say $500 a month more insurance, full coverage insurance. Easy, $200 a person. It might even be more. It might be $300. So let's just say that they're like Caleb's age-ish, under 25. I want to say probably more like $300 a car for insurance. So we have $700 in two car payments. And I'm going to say the insurance for both of them is $600 for two cars. Two separate policies. Under 25 years of age. So $700 and $600 is $1,300 a month. That's a lot of coin. These two young individuals would like to buy a home who currently rent now. One is near the end of her automobile loan. The other one is 2 years. Yeah, 2 years into it. High interest rate. There's no equity in her car. Locked in, can't really do anything about it. Can't refinance it. The other one's near the end of her loan. Is getting the itch to buy a new Subaru, which I don't advise. There's nothing drastically, majorly wrong with her car that I would say that you need a new car. And why do you want to floss? You're not having a baby. Your job didn't really change. They're both staying in their career paths for now. We're going to say, how can they find financial freedom? Well, one, they're going to have to just say, I don't want a new car. I want to finish paying off these cars and take care of them the best I can. And save how much money a month?
$700?
No, dum-dum. 6 and 7. It's $1,300. So we're just saying combined couple, right? We're just going to call
me dum-dum.
We're going to call them a couple here, just
They are
for example. Children, we're just going to say young adults, whatever. We still have to try and scuttle-butt them along and give them our experience. My experience is, no, you don't want a car payment. You don't want to just buy it because your car needs a little bit of work here and there. You're not driving piles of crap. Interest rates are high. Everything's expensive. The next goal for you is to get a house or a home. Wait for the interest rates to come down. Wait for the housing market to come down, and then attack. And not attack with a mortgage payment going into, I'm going to put the least amount of money down, that is affordable or available for first-time buyers, right? Because they rope you in with that. It's like, oh, yeah, we'll write you a loan, first-time buyers. We don't care. You $10,000 down on a $300,000 home. Whatever the case may be. That makes it affordable to get people on the hook, right? To bury them up to their eyes in a mortgage payment. So I said, well, if they listen to what I'm saying to April, listen to what I'm saying, is the one loan is about to mature and be finished, put the brakes on and say, I'm not getting a new car. The other one has 2 years or less. About 2 years or less, or a little bit more on that car payment at $400 a month. So we're just going to stick to the number at $1,300 a month. 13 times 12. Put it in your little phone there. 13 times 12 months. You're already paying the car payments and insurance.
156.
It's $15,000.
You said 13 times 12.
Yeah, 1,300 times 12.
Yeah.
How much is it?
156.
So $15,600. Now, knowing that once the cars are paid off, that they can drop their insurance down to liability. So that will change a little bit, but we're just going to use round numbers for now. Just complete round numbers. Actually, for accuracy, we should just say with liability. But that's probably going to be $150 a month, possibly, maybe $200. So we'll say $300. So let's just say $1,300, I said. So we're going to just say, call it $1,000. So we're just rounded off that they have no car payments and they're paying liability on the two cars. They can save $12,000 a year for the next 4 years. So what's 12,000 times 4? Because these cars will make it 4 years. They can afford to make the payments and the high price insurance. They can sure as fuck make the repairs on it without sweating or burdening anything. If it needed a transmission, they got the money. If it needed tires, it needed whatever, they got the money to keep those cars on the road. $48,000.
48, yes.
$48,000 in 4 years that they would save by not having car payments and just paying liability. That's a chunk of change in the next 4 years of their young adult lives to drop down on a home, whatever they wanted to buy, $150,000 home, $200,000 home, $300,000 home. 10% is nothing. 20% is really nothing nowadays. So 20% of $300,000 is $30,000. More than that. We're not even going to do the math on it. I'm just saying in general, that's nothing for a home today. But they're buying down their mortgage payment instead of just taking the first-time home buyer's option. It says, well, you can only have to put down $10,000 or 10% or whatever. So if it's $400,000, they got to put $40,000 down. They would have that. Now, would they be able to make the mortgage payment? I don't know. They'll have to figure that out. But even if they bought less of a home and put that nut down on a $200,000 home, that makes that home so much more affordable. Staying at their current income status is saying it's not going to change. It may go up a little bit, it may go down a little bit. I don't really have the answer to that. But that is the easy way. My advice is stay in your car, keep it for a few more years, get the home, right? There's more money in the home than there is going to be in your car in the long run, right? So if they buy a home, at some point in time it's going to be worth more than what they paid for it. It's surely going to be worth less at some point in time. It's like the stock market. It will eventually be worth more than what they paid for it and have equity. There's no equity in any cars anymore, really. That's all gone. That market is basically shot. There's some cars that you can have equity in the car, but it's not. If it is equity, it's because you paid it down up front in most cases. Or unless it's a desire car like a Lexus or Toyota. But that's all diminishing because the quality of those vehicles are shit nowadays, and the consumers know it. So they're just devaluing themselves. But the simple way for anyone to give themselves an instant raise is if you have car payments, end the car payments. Like if that's your biggest problem, right? End your car payments. And then if you have credit card debt, right? Take the credit card debt that you have now that you don't have a car payment and squash the credit card debt and get yourself in a serious liquid financial position where now you're in power. You have power. But to just continue that pattern and so many people, I'm just saying people, I'm going to say Americans, but people, have tons of credit card debt and financing shit that they shouldn't be financing. They have pools that they're making payments on that they don't use just so they can entertain their friends for birthdays and shit like that. It's just ridiculous what you see here. They have cars they can't afford to put gas in or put tires on, but they have the car until they repossess it. You could be so much smarter with your money. And I always drove hoopties until I was like 25 was when I bought my first new car. I had my first new home when I was 21. I had a new home before I had a new car. Yep. And then I actually lost money on that new home. I was only in the house for less than 5 years. And it didn't appreciate in 5 years. And it was first-time home buyer, so minimum down. And it actually cost me money to sell that home. And then I, didn't have a car payment, so I was still saving money. I bought another property that was under market value. I fixed it up, sold that property, made a profit, bought another home, and under market value, fixed that up while I was living in it, made money on that, bought another home, and did the same thing, and I was doing really good with that, and I made monster money, and then I bought my lifetime home, and I own my own home now. I don't owe anybody anything on my home at 51 years old. I paid off a $260,000 mortgage. I think I put $30,000 down. It was like $230,000. Had to refinance it through a divorce. Actually added more money at that time because I couldn't screw around with the money that we had because it had to go someplace else in someone else's hands. And then 10 years after that date, I paid it off with double and tripling my car payments, or not my car payments, my mortgage payments, and squashed that loan in 10 years, to get myself in a position where I'm at now. And if I could actually did it sooner if I didn't get divorced. How about that? I could have did that 10 years sooner in my life, so I could have paid off my lifetime home when I was 41. That's an accomplishment. That's the kind of financial freedom you really want. On an auto mechanic salary, that's how you look at it. Auto mechanic salary, owner operator. I did it. We aren't lifestyles of the rich and famous fixing cars where I'm at. We make a decent living, an honest living. But if I could teach, the girls or my own children what's more important is financial freedom, investing in the stock market early, let it ride your entire lifetime. By the time retirement comes, you'll have serious coin, right? And what is it going to take, when our children need to retire? Well, they're not going to be able to retire on $1 million in 20, 30 years from now with debt. You have to be debt-free. And you're talking about, how long can I survive? Most people live to 70, 80 years old with the money that I have. And that's kind of what people have planned out their lives, is they don't have tons and tons of money, but do they have enough to survive? Holy crap. Eagle stands are packed.
So
Eagle stands are packed to the top.
Look, they're standing.
Holy crap. That's because the weather is nice. There's people everywhere at the Eagles game.
They're winning. So.
Go Eagles! Go Eagles! Go Eagles!
Wow, that's a sight for sore eyes.
Yeah.
They're all green.
There's people standing everywhere at the Eagles game. Insane. But that's real power, Being able to do what you want, when you want, where you want, and not necessarily have to ask the bank for money or say, yeah, I need a loan for $20,000, but I'll pay that shit off as soon as I get the bill. That's power. You follow me?
That's what the girls do with their credit cards. As soon as they get the bill, the balance gets paid off.
Right. But that's my point. Empower yourself. People, your next biggest investment, unless you're a drug addict, is your vehicle, right? Or your second home. If you're that savvy, right? And you're not making 2 mortgage payments. Some people do that. They're mortgaged to death. A few hiccups and they're done. There goes the Mercedes and there goes the BMW. You align yourself and take good advice, right? Take good advice. Plenty of people that I talk here on YouTube tell me, yeah, I buy an $800 car that someone doesn't love anymore, fix it up a little bit or not fix it up a little bit, and they drive that car for 2 more years or 3 more years, putting minimum amount of money in it. That's smart, dude. You guys are smart. I don't fault you for that at all. When people say, oh, I'm done with this car, plenty of life left in that car. They are just making a decision that's just not a well thought out process in most cases. And it's so easy for people today to just dispose of people, situations, assets, and not do the right thing. You ever hear a used car dealer say they stole a car? They didn't actually steal the car, but the customer was in such a bad way or with the bank or, financially being burdened that they had to give the car away or sell the car at such an undervalued, under market value. And that's where the dealership says, I stole that car for $800 and it's worth $5,500 trade-in value or wholesale, not including what retail is. So look at all the money. And that goes on. People do that for homes. Like, oh yeah, they're they're in debt to the mortgage company or whatever. They get an investor that says, hey, I'm going to help you. I'm going to get you caught up. And this, that, and the other thing. And then they wind up getting your house because you can't keep up with their deal. So, they become, they wind up putting a lien on the property, right? Now that they're the lien holder, you default with them because they got you out. Like say you owed mortgage company $5,000, they're getting ready to kick you out, or $10,000.
What is he doing? Are you watching him?
And then this guy comes in and says, hey, yeah, I'll pay your note, but you got to sign this paperwork. If you default with me, that you're out, and I get to buy this house. That happens all the time. You get in so deep, or for one reason or another, and someone winds up taking your life for peanuts. Everything that you worked for, or every penny that you put down. That goes on in the car world too, and real estate. They stole this building. They stole this house.
I think this guy's drinking on the job.
He might be. But you want to try and avoid those situations as much as you can. Thanks for watching.